All right, should be good to go here. Both streams should be live. So let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for July 27th, 2021. IWM down 1.16%, Qs down 1.1%, and SPY down just a little shy of 0.5%. They were down more, but as you can see, got a bit of a bounce here into the afternoon. Okay, coming into today, we were bullish on the market, but acknowledging that not a good time to start a new long, right? Multiple days up in a row, not a good place to be starting a long, right? And I think we've kind of all had that experience maybe early on in our trading career where we see, okay, we're taking out the highs. This is, we're breaking resistance, where you get the confirmation that we're bullish, and then you get in, and then right, that ends up being the high, and then you have to live through the pullback. Now, it's not that the market isn't bullish or that we don't expect the market to continue in the days and weeks to come, but right, starting a position yesterday after this many green bars in a row, you're just asking to live through a pullback, right? So bullish on the market coming into today. And then the other question that we had was the IWM gonna turn the corner? Will it start to line back up with the Qs and SPY, or is the IWM gonna continue to show relative weakness? We were waiting to see, can it take out yesterday's high? That would end the downtrend on the daily here that we've had over the past month or so, and would put us neutral in the IWM just because it would still be inside this space, right? But would at least reduce some of the divergence we've had between the three. Today we got our answer, which is that it's not ready to turn the corner yet, okay? So still today, the weakest of the bunch, okay, the IWM. Okay, now we did have a pretty significant pullback today in the morning on the Qs and SPY, okay? I didn't really think that this morning was going to be the start of the pullback. There wasn't really that much here. We are a little bit extended. We are multiple days up. That we were all aware of, right? But I thought maybe it could be a pause, could be a small pullback. But because we got a decent size pullback, decent duration into the support, today does give us a pretty good pivot to work with, okay, off of the hourly here. So underneath today's low on the Qs and SPY, if we get follow through, we get continuation after breaking, next breakdown, next sell setup, we can be bearish, okay? Again, it'll be short-term bearish because the daily and the weekly and the monthly are all still in clear uptrends, all right? So in the same way that a couple weeks ago, we were short-term bearish, leading into this gap down, we got the gap down, and then the market was able to recover from that short-term pullback, right? That's kind of what we're anticipating. Not that it has to come through a gap down, but that if we take out today's low and we get some continuation, that we're gonna stay short-term bearish at least until the downtrend on the hourly ends. So this is how it looked a couple weeks ago, right? We started to be bearish here, okay? And then we got this gap down to support, and then the gap down did not get any follow through there, and then we started to get an uptrend. That's your last bit of confirmation that if we take that out, we are in an uptrend, okay? So we're gonna, treat it the same way, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna play out the same way, but we're basically gonna be tracking the trend and seeing how it resolves, all right? So that's the Qs. Here's the SPY, similar. We got the pivot right at support there. I think on the daily here on the Qs, we did get to the rising 20, so that's also a nice spot there to hold some support. Okay, so still bullish going into tomorrow, but we do have more reference than we did before. Okay, for where we can start to anticipate some kind of short-term bearish bias. Okay. So that was the market for tomorrow. Now let's go over today's plays, okay? BSX, really liked what was going on here on the BSX. We had the gap up, clearing resistance, showing relative strength all morning as the market got sold. This was staying strong. Just did not get the timing right on this BSX, unfortunately. Okay, I got a little bit of a pullback here, right in here. So saw how bullish it was, slight pullback, a little bit extended on the 5, but I thought it was good enough on the 2. Okay, so I thought here it is, right here, off of the 2 minute. Okay, I like that we got this attempt to break down and it got bought. So that was what, even though I knew it was an aggressive play, that's what pushed me over to give it a shot. So I got triggered in there, didn't work. Okay, notice it did shake me out and then went right back up. That, whenever that happens, if you're still paying attention, you know, if you're in the larger time frames look good, that's really when you got to replay. You just get back in over the inside bar after it shakes you out, put the stop at the bottom of the shakeout. Okay. There was another entry here. I didn't think the setup was good enough to give it a shot, but it surely worked. Okay, but really the bullish bias on this, the appeal of this really all comes from the larger time frame. Okay, bullish gap, pro gap, and then bullish larger time frame charts, right? Weekly looks higher, monthly looks higher. Monthly is actually a 1, 2, 3, 4 that triggered today. So yeah, unfortunately did not get the timing right on that one. Otherwise, maybe, you know, it would have been a pretty nice play there on the BSX. Okay, next play was the XRX. XRX, a little bit sloppy here on the daily, but you can see the same appeal that this had to the BSX, which is that despite the bearishness at the open today in the market, the sell-off that we got, these were making new highs, basing at the top here. A little bit sloppy on the daily here. You can see a lot of kind of tails back and forth, a little bit disjointed looking, going back and forth across the 20 MA. So not as clearly bullish as the BSX, okay, especially when you get to the larger time frames. But again, a lot of relative strength on the XRX. So that was okay. And then the AXTA was also just okay as far as the follow through that they got. Again, showing a lot of strength relative to the market, sets up a base right in here, 15 minute 20 MA catches up. We break out, eventually get the new highs, I believe, 37 there. Yeah, was definitely looking for more on this, but it was running into some resistance here on the daily. Okay, so you can see why the BSX kind of hurts the most, even though AXTA, XRX worked, you know, it didn't work as well as the BSX, and why the BSX really wished I'd just replayed. I think that really is the answer. The first entry I know was aggressive, but I just liked the daily a lot. So I was kind of willing to try it. So yeah, the BSX should have done a better job with this. Just a really nice daily, a pretty solid gap. And then the UPS, just wanted to go over this. It didn't end up playing this, UPS. The gap was good though. I think the weekly bullishness kept me out of it, but it did give pretty good follow through. So at the open here, I just want to go over this entry here because I think it's a really good entry. This base here right at the lows. Okay, so this actually opened late, so that's pretty good. So it's actually still the opening range here when you play this break. So it was a $2 stop, so a pretty big stop there, but you got what, $5 or so, I think. No, yeah, $3 there. A little over $3, so pretty good follow through there. This eventually did kind of bottom and then rally around the time that the market also got the rally. Okay, so I think eventually that bullish weekly did kick in, but the shock of the gap, the damage done on the gap definitely got some longs, I think, to sell. Okay, so those were the plays from today. There were still a lot of action in the Chinese ADRs. Again, today we kind of anticipated that there would be yesterday. I didn't get involved in them today. Second day down. Some of them were starting to get a little bit novice. Novice gaps are not as much what I like to do, what I like to focus on. So VIP's not really novice, but some of these others, yeah. So multiple days down. So they're getting harder on these, and then Tao and Got You, of course. So I'm not expecting too much from them tomorrow. ever since the big event day, as they kind of settle down, I'm expecting less volatility, less price action. Okay. What will be in focus tomorrow are all the big names that are reporting. Okay. I know we have Apple, Visa, a lot of big names. So those gaps are going to be the ones that I'm going to focus on first. All right. The large gaps, whichever, produces the highest rated gap. So hopefully we can start to build some steam as earnings season starts to peak. Okay, I don't feel like in the last week or so that earnings has provided as much opportunity. So I think we still have a bunch up ahead, right? Yesterday, right, the best play for me was the ATIP. You actually could have played long or short, but I played it long in the morning, right? This wasn't an earnings play. This was like a trial or something. So I think that was that. So, and that's still what we're seeing. A lot of these, just whatever more standard kind of things is what we're seeing. But UPS today got some follow throughout the open, and we're gonna have a lot more big names coming up. Okay. All right. Hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and hope you have a good evening. Talk to you tomorrow.